Hello and welcome. Here we are, and here you have me again, your Bruder Ritter, coming for you and casting for you the APAC semi-final between PAE versus OSS. So it's gonna be a one game today for APAC, and we can already start into the pick and bun and watch what they did before the game starts. So we have Kura Castle being banned and Heilung Fjord being banned. Pick is Regionopolis and then Walford. And we have the unit bans on Dagger Axes, Spartans, no surprise there, Heaven Range, Outriders, Orochi Samurai, and Winged Hussars. So a lot of cavalry being banned here. The Outriders is kinda unusual in my opinion. Maybe there's something I missed about them. They got buffed a little bit, but for sure they didn't were this strong. They were picked a lot, but I didn't see them perform that outstanding. So let's see why this is maybe the case. Then they picked the Paladins based on them just playing them a lot and the heal in general. They're doing very well in like big clump fights where they just support the value of the whole team by just basically full heal them again. And then they picked the Lion Roar crew, which is like very common for people right now. So people just focus around destroying turrets because they also picked Walford. So they may be playing around the breach again, destroying the bridge, and then also denying a lot of towers, and therefore making it a longer game in the end. I already watched OSS perform once with a 3-0 before, where they really outstanded the enemy. They used a lot of green and blue units. So a very delayed game style where they positioned themselves in a really good way and a really strategic way, and just delayed the whole approach from the attacker. And as an attacker, they really set their RT up, focused on firing, and then executed their pushes very, very coordinated and well in the end. So for today, I don't know how to judge PAE, so I will just give my money to OSS and therefore just look at them perform. The sushi masters from Japanese sushi masters, like they call themselves. So I expect them to pick Orochi Samurai. It's so a great unit in my opinion. They're looking so fabulous and so fun to play because it's not often that a good unit design is also compared with a really good like play style of unit in my opinion, or for my personal opinion, because then I just like a lot of units like Spartan Chosen look great, but they're kind of boring to play for me myself. But then there are other units who I really like enjoying playing. I like Chenji Grenadiers because Chenji Grenadiers are just fun to play. If you just go for the throw arc and then just slowly aim, and then you see them like going into their tiny pockets, pulling out their grenades, be like, Itos Dilitos, and then they throw the grenades and just boom. I really, really like to play them and watch them in general. Then also like Siphonarius, so the Flames, really great unit to play. They're a little bit different. You need to look a little bit at the angles or the back walls you need to aim, so you're aiming a little bit higher, and it's often like really, really fun to play and also to watch. Like who couldn't like enjoy like flames going like and then just flaming the whole area. It's not like the people flaming shit or other players, but it's the unit flaming the other units. So we're going directly in the unit selection phase, where we can see on the side of PHE being a lot of phalanx again, no chocker here, a lot of blue and green units again. We see some big shields, like tower shields. We once called them towel shields based on a mistake on our side where it was like towel shields. Some people spammed like dudes fighting each other with towels. That was really fun in my opinion. I always enjoy like good memes in the community about like things. That's a good way of communication. Then we see on the right side the same stuff basically. Phalanx, a lot of cavalry, dagger axes are banned, in my opinion. Then there are some camels. We have Yan Yu Dao, Yeoman, so that's the Yeoman Riders. And then Kokos, Flames, Falcos. So Flames on the right side and Kokos. On the left side, we also have some Falcos. So it's gonna be for sure a defense on C again, because they're already taking a lot of mortars. So we're gonna see mortar combat again happening. And they're gonna pull back to C. I suspect them to do. This is the map Regionopolis, like a usually cinematic view on the map before we start right into it, where you can see just the sheer beauty of this map. This looks like a holiday. This doesn't look like a holiday. That looks like a work day, where you go down to the mines and be like, okay, I'm a draft today. Very windy today. You can see the flags flying. And there we go. Match started. Pulling up their units again. Some people already pulling their units into the tunnel where they are just safe from the artillery, for the defending artillery. A lot of people just pushing the walls immediately, just going there. One guy, the poleaxe, is very close to getting hit maybe by a bombard, so he needs to watch out. There's no friendly fire, but everybody loves to somebody getting exploded by a bombard, so that would be funny to see in my opinion, and a good clip. In a good meme, always. Shooting your own enemy friend by accident, huh? Pointing accident, not on purpose. And there we can see it already. OSS pulling back to C like I expected them, just based on the arty they picked. And it's the general approach to Regionopolis. You don't see that often people trying to defend A and B. They're just using the standard arty. They didn't use the field cannon on bottom because it's usually a bait. Because if you're going for this, there will be coming a bombard shot for you live, and then just and you're out of it. First death, and you can't allow you that much deaths because we are playing CBL right now here. So you're only allowed to die 3 times. And then your shot caller is calling your names for dying 3 times. So we see A getting captured by the majority of the team, one guy standing alone on B being like, guys, 2 guys at least, because if you didn't know before, you need 3 guys on one map to have the maximum amount of momentum of the point getting captured. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 3. You can teach me differently in the chat if you're there and you think, no, Bruder, you're talking match, and just correct me. I'm fine with that. So we see a lot of units getting pulled back there in the little corner, right in front or on top on the mines. I just call it like mines, or the hole there where the ladders go up, where you can maybe sometimes flank against inexperienced teams, or like in sieges or in ranks even. Sometimes it can be possible, but oftentimes you're just getting picked up there. We see the short bow and the musket already just annoying people underneath. Them pushing up, I don't know, but yep, we're gonna see like mortar combat happening again. A lot of people already putting down their mortars and being like, pew pew. There's the guy already on top on the towers. I always talked about it in the past, where just the standard counter arty is just putting a field cannon on top of this towers there and just cherry picking that mortars from on top. No problem usually. So he's doing this, and I'm proud of him. He's my new favorite spear and shield player. Just by doing it. I know he's not even doing it. There's no field cannon. So never mind me, he was just throwing his spears. So I go back to he's just a normal spear and shield player. Just kicking people around like it's his topic. We see the first engagement of heroes. One guy is falling for us as second guy is falling. Just very overcommitted there in this position, and therefore getting picked and getting their heads chopped off. Defenders immediately suspect the enemy to use this momentum to push further and therefore pulling their units in front. But they take their time and now they're just pulling up their units going for breach as far as I can see it. They may be unable to split the enemy troops. OSS is already reacting to it, pulling all the units back. So we maybe see the first unit engagement here. No, they're pulling back again a little bit. Oh, they're gonna lose a lot of units here. Just based on the fact some guys overcommitted for it already. And the team was like, nope, psych, we out of here. But they didn't follow through with it. Now they're pulling just for C. Everybody inside C. Where's the trebuchet? I expect them to set one trebuchet, but there's nothing coming. Maybe it's on cooldown right now. Big fight on the stairs there. You see some cavalry coming, and they didn't raise the fucking phalanx. Oh, fuck! You should be raging right now. Then this is like a trap, very poorly set for the attackers there. Defenders really pulling up there. Flames doing a lot of work. The trap was just a misclick. So therefore, attackers really executed that so badly. Unbraced phalanx, trap misplaced, very set some people up there. The phalanx on the left side there, blocking the small gate there, they picked up a lot of kills, I guess, because people just pulled up their units. There's another trap. This should be the first trap, by the way, if they pulled in there. But now they're just pulling it. Defenders are retreating from the point because attackers are now coming with freshly units and just picking up whatever is left there. So they're just taking everything there is. Sorry for my noises I usually make. That's just my HDAS kicking in. So we see a C capture here. I don't know if defenders are unable to pull back because usually you want to defend at least behind C because end cap is very, very hard to defend here. Tough being pulled again. He decides to just go for the little units there based on the fact that the rest was covered by anti-cavalry. Now they're bracing their phalanx in time, so that's good. Another set of units being wasted there from OSS. OSS going through. They're looking so strong. Attackers looking really, really good. You're picking them up one by one. OSS is just trying to get on foothold again, but just pulling back and getting picked up left and right. All started with 2 guys overcommitting at the stairs. So what the that's, like I said before, I was like thinking OSS maybe had this in the bank. Now judging this again, seems to be not their day. I just swallowed a little bit of spit there. Nice for you guys to listen to this. So that's why I'm just coughing. It's not because I'm addicted to the nicotine. It's because I can't speak and breathe at the same time. I'm just not made for it. Already going up for the tower there in the back. I expect them to put down some arty there to shoot down on the kill boxes. One trebuchet just coming. They're pulling up. Their fight goes all the way to the back tower there to have like a good angle. It's about the angles. Shooting down on the enemies. There are a lot of heroes on top of this tower right now. I don't know if they're overcommitting with too much arty there, because in the end that could end them up with the defenders artillery just shooting once and like maybe killing like 2 or 3 arty pieces. So maybe less is more in this situation on this tower, and maybe spread the arty a little bit more. Just for your understanding, usually you can place down 3 arty pieces for one person to use, and you can make it like in a triangle where he's rotating from one artillery to another, and therefore can use all 3 mortars with the right CD and the right timing, just shooting, and that should be fine in the end. Mortar hits going in there, mortar combat, we love to see it every time. Maybe we can change the angle a little bit more so that we can see the impacts. And therefore, there's another trebuchet coming. Here we go. Prime footage of fireballs hitting units. It's a ballsy game, huh? So, sometimes you need the balls as a unit, the egg throwers, the Sicalia milites. Then you need the big balls from the trebuchet, and then you need to have big balls for unit engagement, if you know what I mean. Mortar combat it is. For a long time, they still have 12 minutes left, 800 units on both sides. So therefore, we can just look at it from the attackers. They have like 317 T5 units left. Defenders only 236. So already almost having 100 units advantage. But on tier 4, the defenders are looking really, really good right now. There's a lot of T4 units basically being really strong right now. They can easily stand their ground against T5 sometimes. And there's also a lot of phalanx. So if you end up finding you in a flanking position against phalanx, always huge and always good. See the defenders already in the normal corner for Regionopolis if you're going for end cap. So remember, kids, always stand in these corners. You can't be hit by the trebuchet, and you can react to both entries to the end cap and pull your units into the beginning fight there without risking running into a trebuchet. That's very important for you to remember. So you're not getting flamed by some people in ranked for placing unit way in the open and be like, oh, I gonna watch my archers go pew 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 pew. No, no, no. You support your team. You go with them. You go for big blob fights. That's how it is. That's how people often enjoy the game. Playing as together. Huh? Apes together strong. Ooh, ooh. We see a little battle happening there. A guy getting picked up again in the gate. Overcommitting. That seems to be the playstyle today. People just teasing the enemy team with single units or single heroes, not units. But then end up them losing their lives and getting decapitated. Falco's now getting pulled way closer. Two guys. One guy is still in the back shooting the mortars. I'd expect PHE to... Oh no, they're getting attacked. This is gonna be the engagement now. Defenders are going all out. I don't know why they're now running out for it. I guess based on the Falcos getting set up, but they're running into the flames, into the Falcos, and also into the trap. That looks really, really rough right now. I don't want to stand there and be like the guy, oh, that's my fight. No, that's not your fight. You're getting... There's Yan Yudao coming, loading up and being... And all the defenders should be gone in a second right now. Just based on the special effects I can see here. A lot of flames, a lot of Falcos. Slowly all of the defenders are crumbling like an old bread. And therefore the attackers slowly but surely getting pushing through to the end cap. Now the defenders all run for their lives. Some cavalry is coming there. The good old cataphracts. But it doesn't look really good for the defenders. Itekia really showed what was in them there. Really pulled through one push in the end, ended them up in the end cap situation. Now enabled to place all their troops on side on end cap. Me struggling to find words there. People should now retreat a little bit from the attackers, pulling new units, because the defenders going to be here again with a lot of units in a short time. And that's what we are seeing right now. Defenders being enabled to put all the T4 units we saw before down on the point now and wiping the T5 units. So this could end up with OSS basically having now a really good advantage on units. Because I think there was a lot of T5 cleared from the attackers, and the defenders already have a lot of them left. But there's the main push coming. That doesn't look that good. Wuwais, Seth, can't pronounce them right now. Zilladas and Paladins, and they're just munching through the units there. Some Queen's Guard coming from the back, being like, and just pike. They're using this like little darts and piercing the enemies from the back. Going for hard steps. They're like surgeons going for your heart directly with one step. All the defenders getting picked up here again. So I expect them, most of the people should be on the third death right here. So this is heavily focused on the attackers, and I expect them to win this in the next 30 seconds. There's going to be just defenders trying to jump onto the point by delaying it, but this will end up with OSS losing the first fight against PHE. Another trap on the same rooftop. I would hire this builder for this rooftop. Just tanked like 3 or 4 trebuchets over the whole game. Like a really solid thing. defenders now just running in with heroes. They have no units left, most over them, just fighting. And there you can see the last 3 Falcos sitting on endpoint. Victory for the attackers. Starting with the left side, PHE, Penguin, having 3 hero kills, 1 death, and 15 assists. He only killed 70 units and the reason why he is for sure MVP is because he has 916 support points. So he was healing with paladins, his whole mates, and being the guy behind us. And you got this, boys. I'm here to support. Then we go to the second place, Abu. 1 kill, 1 death, 8 assists, 152 unit kills. That's amazing, brother. He has a unit score of 1,422, 589 support points, and 47 capture points on the point. He was really in there every time. He was like, I'm the man, I'm the myth, I'm the legend. 72 paladins killed, 4 flames, 2 Cocos. Jesus, he's a machine. Let's go to the right side. Oh no, we can look at the third place also. 5 heroes kills is really awesome. He was hunting for this boys, playing the spear, running behind the people and being like, piking them. 5 kills, 1 death, 11 assists, 123 unit kills, which is also really, really good. With a 1,143 unit points and 554 support points. Then we go to the side of OSS. Moonjain. In Germany, we would say Moonjain. And there's like 2 hero kills, 2 deaths, 2 supports, 124 unit kills, which is very solid. And the unit score of 1,131. And also 481 support points. Never touched a point in his life as a defender. Then we have the second guy from the OSS team. I can't read that, I'm sorry. He has 1 kill, 3 deaths, 4 assists, 76 units, which is like evenly spreaded. He invested as many units as he killed in the end, so that's fine, I guess, depending on what unit he picked. A unit score of 837, which is very good. Well, not very good, but good for this unit amount. Then we have the third place, OSS. Can't read it either. With 5 heroes kills, which is really good because based just on the stats there for the defenders, he was doing a lot of hero damage, or maybe just picked them up, but it looks like he did also do a lot of hero damage, and therefore was just the guy. He was Achilles, calling the guys out to be like, Hector, come to me, 1v1. 5 hero kills, 3 deaths, 6 assists, 70 unit kills, and a unit score of 699. Did really good. So post analysis gonna be just really crude. This is the first fight for C. We can see there were in the graph where the attacker spent a lot of units or more units. It's not that much more units than the defenders, but they had the momentum there, and then they could just pick up the left defenders on C point while pulling in with new units. Ended them up with also getting a lot of units and heroes retreating to the end point. And then the last push was like very dominant of them, with them just having the Falcos and Flames perfectly aligned there and just shooting down the defender foes. Second fight was also the same. They just withholded the stand on the endpoint there with the defenders pulling in new units, but they just clumped up again, made a big ball again, and just fought their way back into it. Ending the game for them to take the first victory in their direction. So we're gonna take a little break before the next round. I expect it to take like 1 or 2 minutes. So see you guys, and leave a comment or a question in the chat. See ya. Here we go again for the second round from OSS against PHE. Now we swapped side, as you know it. OSS being the attacker, defending side being PHE. They did really, really good last round, really dominated the battlefield there with every engagement they did, very well executed, just put on the pressure. Now we can see the units being picked, a lot of green, a lot of blue, you can see from the defenders there. Cocos, Flames, Genji Grenadiers, some Ziladars, a lot of Phalanx being pulled again. Here and there some cavalry, green cavalry, so T2 units, T5 units, T4 cavalry. Attackers being there with 2 times Flames, 1 time Cocos, 2 times Cocos, a lot of Phalanx, way more high tier units for our OSS there. So we're gonna see a lot of difference in the unit count from the get-go. The defenders having way more units than the attackers. Therefore, we're gonna see a slow gameplay from the defenders, I guess. We see already a lot of grape shots and field cannons. Could it be that they're defending between A and B? Just based on the arty I'm seeing here? Because I don't expect them to use this kind of arty on C. Maybe they're defending behind C and therefore using the grape shots there, but I don't know why they picked the grape shots right from the get-go. That's just having me throwing up a lot of question marks above my head. Here we saw the Mines of Moria again. Maybe we see some descendant of Gimli. Must be so hot there. Imagine being a knight in full armor set and running in this kind of sunset. Aye. Arty flying, they're pulling back the units already to see this, so they're not defending A and B for sure. Mortars flying already, destroying the field cannons. Attackers already pushing for the walls. Defenders now also pulling back their heroes step by step. 1, 2 guys stepping on the ladders being like, get down there. 2 attackers seem to be coming up the wall there. There's gonna be the first hero engagement. I don't think they're gonna climb all the way up because based on too many defenders already staying there. Right side, they climbed it up all the way. 2 heroes already up there. The Poleaxe is struggling and not trusting this situation right now. Now he's coming up, letting the one guy just go through. I don't know why the spear and shield just didn't stop him. Defenders still having some units left there on the stairs to see. I don't know why, because if they're aware of it, the attackers, they may be trying for a lucky trap there and just going for some units being killed. Aye, shooting down the gate while some attacker standing on it. King was just thrown to the floor. He was made a peasant by his own team. Capturing A again. 2 guys on A. 1 guy already running through. Nope, coming back. Short bow jumping around, looking for some special units. They can really be like the ultimate enemy if you're playing special units like Cocos or Flames. They just usually just pop your heads of your units and just pick them. They cherry pick the units basically of the opposing team. So therefore you see usually 1 guy playing bow right here, which is like a very, very, very high class or high skill class you need to master to be efficient in this kind of game, because it's a lot about pushing together and utilizing your CC and AoE. But if you're just point and click pew pew, then you need to be really on point and know what you're doing to become efficient as anybody else in your team. So therefore there's by default a high skill gap between the classic short and longbow player and really professional players on this. In Europe, there's basically Pustoy, has a great YouTube channel, longbow player, really, really on point. Sometimes he looks like he's like the living machine for popping heads. and special units. There's a field cannon already situated to shoot at the double setup of ballistas here. Countered with a trap. But he already picked up one ballista there. So not really worth it, but at least good. Then we see all the way in the back there's one mortar being placed on the tower there to counter the mortar combat in the end. And there's a second one floor down. So therefore they're already set up their defending artillery strategy. But by the looks of it, the attackers pulling all the way to the left side. So maybe they are as fanatic as going for the left side supply. One guy already, King already on it.
I stand my ground. You don't dare to touch me.
Pulling up some units. One guy is getting picked somewhere on the map. Do we see the first unit engagement really going for left side supply? That would be a new one. Last time we saw there was like a split in the team with some guys pushing for supply and the others pushing for backside of breach and therefore capturing the supply behind C. There's a not very useful trebuchet into the biggest tower I ever seen. Three muskets shooting down on King. King barely took any damage.
I am king. I am strong man.
He's not giving them any room or showing any fear in the eyes of the... He's just looking into the white of the enemy's eyes and be like, ah, you can't hurt me. I can withstand all the damage. So we still just look at mortars shooting down on the defending forces, while the attacking units are being placed on the left side mainly. Some guys are standing on the right side with some paladins there just to cover the supply, I guess. Now there's going to be a push in the direction of the supply, so we're really gonna see the first engagement happening on the left side supply. That's odd. Oh, I love to see it because it's new. Like Alpha would see, I love to see it. OSS building up, a lot of shields there, now getting down, but the defenders already kind of retreating their units just based on the artillery, I guess, because there's one guy still standing on supplies, so they should hold on to this. Wouldn't make any sense to stay there with 2 or 3 guys. So they're just waiting for the push to happen and therefore just gonna push through with it. Now they're witnessing that their trebuchet is not really hitting there. Chenjis are situated all the way on top, waiting for their time to shine, to throw down some grenades. Mortar's hitting really good here on the supply. That must hurt. They're really on point here. They now know where to aim at, and therefore every shot right here is gonna be a direct hit. Ah, set this, and immediately one guy just shot the empty stairs, so don't mind me. I don't know on how long do they plan to go here, because in the end, if they're going for supply, that will end them up fighting for small gate, which is not really good. So they're not making a lot of ground here, and I don't understand why this is even going on for so long, because they don't seem to be willing to pull through with this strategy here. Now they're pushing for it. Every time I'm saying something and they just prove me wrong. That's good. Pushing for the stairs here. Units coming down, already getting hit. There's like a lot of attackers being here. Defenders not being really in position. Shenji Grenadier throwing down. Kokos throwing down. A lot of burning ground there. They're just holding their ground with the defenders. But the burn damage of the Kokos and the Shenji is going to be a lot to deal with right now. slowly munching them down on the attacking forces. If they just hold on to the supply here, they should be really fine. But it doesn't look that good for the defenders. Attackers slowly but surely making this a winning fight for them. Pushing the one guy, the musket in the corner. Guys, help me! But just killed him. No chance. One long sword running all the way back there on the supply, still blocking it. Now also dead. Paladin's gonna be wiped in a second. Therefore, a really good push for the attackers. But like I said, if the defenders manage to pull up all their units to the small gate again, they're gonna find themselves just being stuck on the same position and fighting for small gate, and which is not like a good position for an attacking team. And it seems like the defenders have enough time to pull back all their units for the point there. Attackers taking way too long there on the captured supply, just based on maybe the warcaller trying to organize his guys. But if they just use the momentum to jump down the last units there on point, they should be very fine. But they didn't. So right now, just pushing for the wall with some heroes, just looking what they can see there. But now, like I said before, they're gonna find themselves in the position where they need to fight for small gate, which is not really good. Paladins coming up there, making this an unfair fight. Just be fair, guys. Fight them as heroes. Don't take units. Yan Yudao's going down the stairs. They already fought against the guy here, pulling back the supply. If they just take the supply, that's going to really be beneficial for them in the end. If the attackers decide to go for small gate, which I highly doubt, but it looks like this, it's going to be not an ideal situation for them and really bad, in my opinion. If a defender also decides to jump down on the supply and therefore blocks their new units coming, it's going to be a pain in the butt. The guy on supply just got wiped on the other side. Chenji's just throwing down what they can do, but it could be ending them up eating 1 or 2 mortar shots, which is not good. So don't waste your Chenji grenades there. Defenders now decide to heavily go for the guy on supply. I don't really know why they're overcommitting to this side so hard, because attackers may be deciding to attack now based on them just being there with a lot of units. But they pick up a guy. The OSS short and the spear and shield player is gonna be struggling against this Yan Yudao there. There's some Kokos all the way in the back. Could be a juicy flank if they're not watching, but it's CBL, so there should be always be one guy having like his eye out and be like, there's a guy flanking. So it's mortar combat at its best again. 6 minutes on the clock for C. Wanna be a close one. Another trap going for the big tower. I don't know what he was aiming for. Maybe he slipped or he just misclicked. But misclicking G and then left mouse button is like very unusual. Still standing there on the small gate and now realizing maybe from time to time, this is not really looking really promising to push through this. Yeah, that's right. But they're wasting so many times. Now we see a lot of people climbing up the walls. King just climbing up the walls, climbing up the ladders. Man, I really are in search of words today. Maybe my last brain cell was wasted in some ranked games at the weekend. I can't know. I don't know. Maybe it vanished before that. Traps hitting. No, not traps. That's mortars. Fuck. So still sitting up there, waiting on the supply. Kinda snoring. Kinda boring to watch, because people not moving, no engagements, no balls. Come on, guys. Keep it up, rotate a little bit more, go a little bit more. You are the aggressive part, you're not the sleeping part. This will end them up pushing small gate, sooner or later, but then end them up in a really bad situation. So move your ass around, go from another angle. Small gate is such a bad call in my opinion. And please don't judge me wrong again. Prove me wrong again. That's the sentence I wanted to get there out. And now for the first time I'm saying something and it's happening. They're moving around to the other side. Should be happening like maybe 500 minutes ago, but now we're gonna see it at least. This is gonna end them up in a direct push, I guess, because 4 minutes is like nothing. They have 800 units for the defenders, high tier units. Attackers 800 units, high tier units and defenders 1000 units. So they're gonna need to kill a lot of units and don't have that much time. That's what we're seeing right here. They're just okay, guys. Let's go. We wasted so much time on small gate. Now it's our time to shine. Sending in the cavalry first into the anti-cuff. Perfect gameplay. We love to see it. Now sending in units one by one. That's not how it should be done. Waiting for the trebuchets, so they maybe baited it, and they're hoping for the RNGs to hit here perfectly. Yan Yudao going in, wiping a lot of units on the stairs. Viladas going chop, chop, chop down the stairs, slowly but surely. Coco's flames on the bottom, already a guy jumping down there to block the supply. Slowly, you don't have time, guys. You need to push your attackers, and you see the defenders aggressively defending while the attackers they're going back to supply to kill the one guy. They're wasting time. You need to hurry up. Get you guys one guy running alone again. Inside, where's your communication? Talk to each other. Holy moly. You guys need to coordinate. This is a lot of cuff. This is not good right now. There's a lot of anti-cuff standing there. Look at your top. Look what the enemy is doing. Where's your shot caller? You maybe need to invest in a new shot caller for attacking. Ay, ay, ay. I'm not want to judge this, but I'm judging this really bad execution at the attacking team. OSS not showing what they did before. This is not gonna work out very well. Another trap hitting somewhere. Now we see the heavily sky cuff coming in there, but now the attackers have a better position there for attacking. Looking good, looking strong. Look, go for it, go for C. 2 minutes on the clock, you can do it. Go, let's go, come on, Yanudao going for it. Defenders holding again, a lot of phalanx into the wall, being like, I'm dumb, not positioned right. Enemy flames, attackers enemy flames, attacking flames are doing really good. Flaming them down like your casual or ranked player enjoyer. Attackers going now for small gate also. Where are the defending force? Where are the units? There they are. Perfect. Don't overcommit for small gate. Stay on big gate, that's fine. 1 minute. Just jump it. Okay. Flank from behind. It's going so many angles getting used by the attackers. Defenders gonna be finding themselves right now in the position where they need really to jump on the point for 1 minute. But it's looking so good for defenders right now also. One phalanx is used as a flanking unit again. As you can imagine, slow one. You can see them fight them again. Flames still on the point there. No, Flames are maybe used all their armor and therefore need to go back to the supply. We don't know, or I didn't saw it at least. Maybe they're getting jumped. Now defenders looking really strong. No units left for the attackers. Slowly but surely, like, pike, going through there, no problem. PHE looking so strong here. They're doing so good. Very coordinated, very good gameplay. But I judge OSS Warcaller. Going small gate. What do you imagine, bro? Imagine going small gate on Regionopolis. Have you lost it all? 10 seconds on the clock. Who could have guessed? You don't have time anymore. You wasted it all on small gate. That's it. Second round for PHE. They did so good. Go to the right side. Look at this Machine right side, the machine, the legend, PHE. 3 hero kills, 9 assists. He killed 264 units. Legend. He is the master himself. We all gonna learn 1 or 3 things from him. No, he can make children. I can learn from his children. 2,514 unit score. Man is a god. People gonna bow to him, telling him he's gonna make a new religion. Best CB player. The fuck? Second place. 1 hero kill, 1 death, 7 assists, 86 units kills, 862 support points. Also did really good. But the guy above, holy moly, whole another dimension. Third place, 100 unit kills. 100 unit kills. First guy is laughing. That's not even half of his units. But also did good on a normal scale. But guy on top, fucking hero. God. OSS side, Moon, Yanein. And it is again, Yain. I don't know how to pronounce it. Moon, Yain. I stopped trying here. 2 deaths, not 7. That's not possible in CBL. 7 assists, 88 unit kills, 946 unit score, 827 support points. Really, really good. Really, really good. Second place, 2 kills, 2 deaths, 8 assists, 735 unit points. Also did really good. But third point, he has 182 units killed. And he's third place. He killed almost double the amount of the guy above. You know why he's third place? Support points. You gotta hate it. He's having his whole team in his backpack, and the one guy with the support points being like, oh, I'm gonna deserve better than you. I'm making all the good things for my team here, so I deserve the better place. No, you don't. This guy has the backpack. You are in it. Shit. Okay. We're gonna head into the next break. Oh, no. Post analysis. I almost forgot. So flabbered by the god gameplay of 206 unit case. I now have to look at post-battle analysis. So we're going for C. The first battle there took them ages. Oh, no. Wasn't even C. Was before that. Was for the supply. Even trade. I can't even remember what happened there. So much time wasted on small gate. They did go for supply first, left side. Even trade, defenders really taking the units out there and then just attackers, not moving forward. Winning this fight and the supply, taking the supply, having enough time to pull out new units, defenders, spawning somewhere down on the South Pole. Have enough time to go back to sea. Imagine. But happened. We saw it all. We witnessed it. Witness me, brother. Therefore, going back to sea, we see them trying for small gate for a millennial. I had grandchildren in this time. They were born. They learned how to play CB and TW. And then they decided to go for the normal approach on C. Therefore, defender wiped the floor with them and won this round. So, now, guys, we see each other again. You can hear my beautiful, shitty voice again in like 5 minutes. I don't know. Who knows? But see you guys. And we are back. So- Yep. Perfect timing. My dog just barked around. It's maybe the OSS guys trying to withhold the stand and therefore start barking against PHE. Always the best timing. You press a button and therefore one guy is ringing the bell and therefore one guy. And my dog just barking at it. Maybe need to mute myself again in a second. You need to tell me if it's too loud for you. My dog just going mental in the back. OSS trying here, setting up their units, going with cannons, flames, Cocos. On the defending side, we're going to see Falcos, flames. Therefore, like I said before, we're going to see a lot of Falcos maybe going for bridge. I don't know. Ah, there we see the attackers going with cannons. So therefore, they picked the cannons and therefore they use it on this map. A lot of different tier units. for the defenders and attackers being there with almost more high tier units. Now the barking stopped. I excuse myself for this. I couldn't change the nature of this dog. It's a guarding dog, so every time she hears somebody approaching the door, she's gonna be barking at him. It's like a defender going for supply. If somebody goes with with causes around going for the flank, they're gonna be like, "Oh, watch out, watch out!" And that's basically what my dog is doing. So, yeah, I did it. I said all the guys looking for flanks are dogs. You can quote me on that. Okay, here we're gonna see it. They're gonna OSS being really going for B flank there, letting a lot of units staying in the back. Defenders already setting up for. There's one trap already going for bridge. That's kind of odd. Why they're shooting down the bridge with their own trap, which is like really shit. Paladins rotating to the other side. Again from the door, they just jumping in front of it, not knowing what they're gonna do there. Climbing the wall, going for Arty. The standard setup Arty. Just people climbing doors. So we're gonna see a lot of them trying get the towers in. Defenders not setting up Arty to deny them, so I gonna expect them landing the first set. No, they're already really down the towers based on the Falcos. Okay, they're using the Falcos, utilizing them very good. Right there, they're not gonna get left side with the breach, and therefore it's gonna be a longer game there. Trap is flying all the way in the back for some units there. One guy falling down the wall. Again, every time on this map, it happens to one guy falling down the wall and being like, "Oh, sorry guys, don't mind me." Trying to climb up again. And therefore the first set of towers being pushed. Defenders now running back on the wall, having just some life on the bridge left, so they're gonna destroy it in a second. I hope the short sword. I always say short sword. I don't know why. It's wrong wired in my head. The spear and shield player trying to go for the bridge there, seeing it's almost done, so he decides to go back again. I need to focus again a little bit more, going to my English spirit and don't speak too much German. My thick German accent is getting too strong every time. Again, some guys going downstairs to fight there, but then this time one guy at least gets back to the wards safe. He can now tell a story to his grandchildren, be like, "This guy's coming from me falling down the walls." Falco's already picking up the left tower here again. Right tower's also getting destroyed. There's a lot of field cannons being placed all the way in the back behind C. Falco's getting destroyed by people running into it. That's like, one guy, or they slept already. Maybe based on me calling the people watching for flanks dogs. And therefore, they only have 4 Falcos left. This is going to be a major problem to get down the last turret there. I saw a lot of field cannons being placed behind C point on the half moon there. So that's the main usage of them, is to try to get down all these turrets. It's gonna be a very close one. Maybe we're gonna see some people jumping for this tower, but it doesn't look like it. They're already pulling back all the units there. And also you see like the general movement being very defensive based on this reaching the walls. There's another guy being downstairs again. They're trying to touch some grass here over and over again. I don't know why. I'm not looking good. And he's out. OSS secures a kill based on him falling down the wall, misstepping. Everybody pulling back the units now from A again, just denying or getting some time out of it. The attackers didn't even destroy the breach, which is really very odd in my opinion. Maybe they're gonna do it later with their cannons, I guess. Right now, PHE needs to run with the heroes because they're gonna get picked up in the end. This is not a promising engagement. But OSS decides to let them go. Not pushing for it. I would just call push them down on the stairs there because it's only 2 units there. That's a good trade for you every time you take it, because just based on you pushing as a team, it should be very effective, or at least giving you some unit models in the end. Already 2 guys running for B there. Another tower is gonna hit the walls any second now on the left side. Camels in the main gate, Cocos on top, a lot of paladins, some phalanx. But in the end, it's like a really lack of anti-cavalry for this push right now, in my opinion, because there's phalanx and camels, and that's it for anti-cavalry. The rest is like sword infantry and some shields and Siladars, and then you have some Zweihanders there. And there we already see the usual setup on mortars, but the defenders are already in the gate with the units, so heavily positioned themselves defensive against the mortars. So if the attackers decide to come down the stairs, it's gonna be a big fight but for now, it's just gonna be them realizing that the defender is just waiting inside of gate. There's one trap can hit there very hardly into the gate because it's a very good position in the middle, but you would just end up maybe wasting one trap for one good hit. But then they already set up like arty outside of the main gate and therefore pushing the defender out of the main gate. And that's why you see now the units pulling out. It's just 2 mortars that were enabled to shoot inside of main gate, which ended them up pushing out the defender again. Now they're gonna destroy the breach, but they used arty for it. I expected them to just pull their cannons out and go with the cannons, because then they would just have some shots left in their arty. So I don't know especially why. Normally, right now we're gonna see a lot of Haranger because they are banned right now. That's why we don't see them. But on the right side, where we saw the glaive player just come down from B, you can stand with archers on top there and use the high ground Anakin, and then you can shoot down on the attacking foes. There I saw a glimpse of the cannons being pulled, so I expect them to go for a ground push. Nope, they're pulling up the cannons on top. So let's see how they utilize them on the top floor there. Focus. One guy gets picked again. What is happening? Overcommitting people. Why do you do this all the time? I don't know. It's CBL. How do you think that is not going to affect you being out of position? Every mistake should be punished by the opposing team because they are high tier. They are the T5 unit or T5 teams in our game right now. At least they are very good in ranked games to get into CBL. I think there are some teams out there who didn't make it this time, who could end up maybe being better as teams than they did it this CBL. Bandits is like a really strong team. They sadly didn't make it this time in the EU. So we're gonna see the ground push with the cannons, like I said before. Defenders already prepping with arty for it. So maybe attackers decide to pull around again, just based on the defenders putting down so much arty for this push. But it's OSS, and we saw them struggle again. Or before, not again. Like they did before, watching into small gate, waiting ages, and then pulling through. Guys, you only have 6 minutes left. You have 1,300 units to go through. That's 200 units per minute right now if you don't get C. That's a lot. There's the push slowly coming. They're pushing into it. First guy being in there is the bow player, the longbow player. Normal shield setup. Now the cannons getting built. Flames, cannons, focus. Defenders only utilizing the mortars they placed and some fire incendiary archers. Oh, this could be so good, because if you don't know, if the incendiary archers end up killing the flames, they're gonna explode and kill all the defending units standing next to them, and that's gonna be happening in a second there. I think this is what really cooked them in the back, that the cannons just exploded with the flames, and then also they just did it so great, defenders being so strong here, showing their supremacy on their fighting style and their execution being really on point there. I really love the incendiary archer counter to the flames. They're really good placement and utilizing of them, ending them up with a dominant fight right here. PHE is looking like they want to make it 3-0, and they're looking strong for it. Maybe the attackers already being demoralized by looking too long into small gate, and now they find themselves in the same position again. At least this time they decided to do this before the time was running out, so that ends them in the position where they can try twice. And by the looks of it, they're going for the same approach again, pulling up their special units first, and a lot of units are way in the back, which could end them up in a bad position again. Cannons being placed right here. Maybe they can shoot before the incendiary archers get... Yes! Nice. Incendiary archers really landing their shots there on the enemy cannons. Now they're pulling back because the placement this time took them too long. Incendiary archers getting picked up again, so they now need to pick up a new counter to their full 3 special unit setup. It's cannons, flames, and the good old egg thrower, the Kokos. There's a trap landing in nowhere, nobody standing next to it. Do you need glasses, my boy? There's the setup for the C cap. A lot of mortars getting placed here. Normal setup there, 3 unit out. They need to counter this cannon setup immediately, because the attackers have a range advantage based on the fact they're using the Lion Roar. PHE is just withdrawing here. It looks like they don't know how to counter this in this situation, because they only have flames, and therefore they need to be very close, but they can't really do anything against the cannons slowly pushing and doing for this room. This is gonna be a major problem for them right now here. They need to immediately flank for the cannons and jump for the cannons, which they are doing. Oh, they can read my mind. They're going for a big fight on C happening there. Flames going left and right. A lot of people just jumping for the cannons there and just investing their life for the team. On C, it's looking really good for the defenders again. They're just executing this so good. There's the cuff flank coming. Oh, 2 kills. I think in total there for just for the cuff charge, already placing camels all the way in the back, so the attacker can come back with a lot of cavalry. Trap landing there on the remaining defending units, but the defenders already showed how good they can execute. So good. The placement from the cannon was so slow. They placed the cannons way too much in the open, didn't go with all the units, therefore ending them up in a position where they could get jumped from heroes, which PHE immediately saw. From the player perspective, I can judge this from the bird's eye perspective, therefore it's very easy for me to see, but way harder for a player to spot this. But they immediately saw it coming, executed it perfectly, and just jumped it. There's a lot of cavalry, that's why they placed down the camels. Now the cavalry is just charging for 1 set of paladins. 1 minute 30. Guys, this is looking not really good for you. Again, wasting a lot of time. Already having just 400 units left. Defenders having 800 units left. Even if you get C right now, this is gonna be a lost case. For sure. But here we go for the last fight, basically. One charge, second charge, third charge. One companion cuff is waiting all the way in the back while they're plopping up again with their front lines. Phalanx is pushing forward, doing their job. Immediately another cuff charge is coming. Just wiping the floor with them. No chance at all. OSS even struggles to show some effort to fight against them. PHE, they are like gods in human flesh armor. They are just wiping the floor with them. They don't even seem to struggle at all. The only thing they maybe struggled with is defending against the turret in the beginning and spotting the one guy flanking their Falcos. But holy moly, they are doing so good and so well executed. You can be proud to be a part of this team. It's looking so strong. 14 seconds left here on the clock. One guy struggling on supply. Defending it, but for what? It's already over, mate. It's already done and dusted. So that's it. They wiped the floor. Oh, PHE again. Top guy, 1,133 support points and therefore becoming MVP. He has 4 hero kills. That's good. 1 death and 11 assists. Really solid there, but only 50 units killed. That's not that much. But with all the support points, he becomes the G of his lobby. Second guy, 4 hero kills. Also, never died once. Never came to face with death himself. 7 assists, but 162 units. Very solid gameplay there. A unit score of 1,973. He killed 40 cannons himself. 14 cannons. Not 14 cannons, but 14 guys using the cannons. Let's say it like this. And just 200 support points. Deserved second place, yeah, for sure. He has the backpack, we all know it. Third guy, 3 kills, 2 deaths, 8 assists, 120 unit kills. Very solid gameplay. Did a lot. Very played frontline there. Played against the shields. Jumped for 2 flames. So really, really good. Going to the left side, OSS Giro. Also has Giro hero kills. 1 death, 9 assists, and 61 unit kills. A unit score of 799. Killed 2 Falcos. Killed a lot of cavalry there, here and there. And has like 61 points by capturing points as the attacking team. Second guy has 1 kill, 3 deaths, 4 support assists. 57 units in total killed and 870 unit score. Looking very solid. That was the guy, I guess, who jumped the Falcos in the beginning. He killed 5 of them and he was the glaive player we saw there. So for sure that was the guy having his mind open and his eye and ready to grab some enemy special units. So let's go to the post-battle analysis. A lot of nothing. A lot of attack units being thrown into the breach, getting fully wiped by the incendiary archers on their special units because they placed flames on top of the cannons, and therefore the incendiary archers fired on the flames. The flames exploded, and therefore all the cannons were gone. Looked. But also they just dominated the 1v1 fight in the front lines there, therefore ending up in a really good trade in the favor of the defender. Second fight, even stronger defender orientated, but also with the time in mind where people need to attack and therefore maybe not executing the attack plan that good. Ended up with a 3-0 for PAE. I even start to pronounce them wrong. That's so, guys, I hope you had some fun. I did, at least for today. So we're gonna see each other, or maybe hear each other again tomorrow at the same time with another semi-final from APAC. And therefore, I wish you all a very pleasant day, and maybe have some good lobbies with your friends, and enjoy your games. See you, boys!